Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you come to learn all the most efficient, powerful, abundant ways to grow their firm, sharpen their sales skills, and have consistent, increasing revenue year over year. I cover topics from pricing, sales, networking, objections, ideal clients, some marketing ideas, and really about how to increase your cash flow and profitability and set boundaries so you have the firm that you've always dreamt of. You're no longer giving away your time for free. You're no longer putting yourself on sale, and you are being paid for the value and worth that clients actually appreciate you for. So you'll learn tips and strategies as well as hear personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly how to create the firm of your dreams and the life full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Our special guest is my partner in crime, Denise Mandeau. But before we welcome Denise to the show and talk about which clients you should offload and which ones you should keep, yes, right now you can still make those decisions. It's not too late. I wanted to share that myself and Denise have been helping accounting and tax firm owners have more freedom with their time and money, get paid first and upfront, and confidently charge the fees they know they deserve. And I know that our system works and that I can help you create the firm you've always wanted, but it's up to you to take the next step. So if that's of interest to you, head on over to theabundantcall.com right now to book your free session with myself and my team. We're going to cover on the call where your firm's at right now and the things that are keeping you stuck in the areas you want to change, where you want to be with your firm in your life to ensure you're paid first, avoiding all the pitfalls so you can save a bunch of time and money. And I'll cover the exact next steps you need to take to double your firm revenue right now in this year. I want to also share every one of our success stories has started with this call, and it's turned out into more confidence, charging premium fees, doubling and tripling top-line revenues, eliminating burnout, and feeling excited about your work and being in control of your future. So head on over to theabundantcall.com. And now let's welcome Denise to the show. Welcome, Denise, to the show.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're a couple months into the new year, and I'm just so excited about this topic because today on the Abundant Accountant Podcast, sometimes we get sticky notes at events of what people are having a challenge with, firm owners specifically, you guys. And one of the sticky notes, Denise, I got was, how do you know which clients to offload and which ones to keep? And I think it's so pertinent because we're in the midst of tax season and you might be feeling a little run down already. You might be going, I can't go another year like this. You might be saying to yourself, man, it was just the new year and I already feel like this. What did I do wrong again? So today we're going to talk about 4 different qualities, characteristics that you can look for right now and start to know which clients you want to offload, which ones you want to keep. Maybe we'll even give you a couple tidbits on how to let someone go without being too negative or too rude. So that's what we're talking about today. So thank you, Denise, for being here. And just in case someone doesn't know who you are, why don't you share who you are? Because Denise is my partner in crime on the East Coast, while I am on the West Coast. So thank you, Denise, for being here.
Of course. Yes, I am Michelle's partner in crime at The Abundant Accountant. Love working with all kinds of accounting professionals, helping them to understand their value and be able to communicate that through magnificent and wonderful enrollment conversations.
Yes, lovely. Well, and today, what do you think is the first quality that a firm owner should be laser focused on right now to know which clients maybe they should let go of and offload and which ones they should really keep around? Because it's the start of tax season right now. You might already be feeling not so great. You might already be working 4, 5, 6 days a week and you want to reduce your volume, let go of the people that are dragging you down. So, Denise, what's that first quality characteristic that a firm owner should really look into and think hard right now? These four you want to write down today. You want to have a pen and paper, put it on a sticky note, just like the sticky note one of you guys gave me. What are those qualities that we're going to share with you that you want to start identifying in the current client list that you have that you might need to put on the See You Later program?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's going to be a lot of head nodding when people hear these because the first one, and some of you are probably already experiencing this, is people who drag their feet, turning in documents, getting back to you with answers, and you just feel like you're wasting so much time asking for the same thing over and over again. They just don't respect you.
Yeah, and I think chasing people down for documents it's not only exhausting, but it's so inefficient in your firm. And if we're trying to work smarter and not harder, maybe there's something that you can implement in your firm. Maybe not right now because it's probably a little too late, or you could just put some time frames and requirements on the documents that are required. So, for example, if you have a client, like Denise said, who is always last minute Lucy, they get you things at the last minute. You're about to pick up their file and do their return. You realize that 1099s are missing. You realize that whatever else is missing. Maybe you're doing their business returns and they forgot to give you their QuickBooks logins or their bookkeeping because they have a different person doing their bookkeeping. You name the thing that you're missing. That's the exact thing that you can set yourself up to win with your clients right now. But we have to ask for it in advance. And that's where the challenge lies. So if you're in the midst of whatever right now in your firm, one idea that you can implement is sending out an email or a message through whatever CRM you use saying last call as your subject line. And for the 2022 tax season, or if you're listening to this in 2023, insert whatever tax season year it is, we are now requiring that all documents be uploaded to our server, mailed into us, dropped off to us, whichever route you are taking this year. No later than X date. So you could put March 15th, March 31st, whatever that drop dead date is for your firm. It could be right now or it could have passed. It just depends on when you're listening to this.
Yeah, and if people don't want to follow those rules, that's one mark, right? That one mark towards the See You Later program.
They would definitely be on the See You Later program, and this would be in the category of clients you want to offload if they can't follow your rules, because that's the part that builds resentment. It's the part that burns you out every year. It's the part that says you can't keep going this way. All the ways that make you feel like you just want to crawl in bed and never come out and take a vacation for 2 months and never check your voicemail and never check your email. This is the exact reason why. So I recommend implementing something along the lines that I just shared right now. And as long as you notify clients up front, that's all that matters. But otherwise, why are you going to keep chasing people around, hoping for a different result? We're not going to get a different result in our firms until we make a change. And this is one change that you can implement right now, today, which, by the way, will increase your revenue because you'll have less volume and more time to help the clients who might pay you more. You might be able to see some tax planning opportunities. You might be able to take someone on for monthly services, advisory services, bookkeeping, accounting, you name it. There might be something else you can see finally because you've offloaded some clients who aren't going to meet your boundaries of what your standards are for your firm. But I do recommend you make one notification in advance, minimum one, if you can. Denise, what's the second quality or characteristic or action we should note from our current clients to assess if we need to offload them or do we want to keep them?
Yeah. I think one of the things that we've found in particular, Michelle, is that all of our accountants have huge hearts, right? And they think that they need to keep everyone and anyone, but you have to look at, what clients are DEF clients, meaning they're not profitable. They, maybe they're like wanting everything for nothing, whatever it is, right? You've got to look at your client base because 80% of your revenue is probably your top 20% of your clients. So you really have to look at, is it worth the time, your staff's time? Maybe, once you do an audit on your clients, you're going to find out you're really not making money on a good portion of your clients. So it's either time to raise your fees or let them go.
Yeah. And, right now when you're listening to this, it might be a little too late to raise your fees. But like Denise mentioned, in order to achieve more with less, we need to realize the 80-20 principle. If you haven't read that book, it's a really good book. And it's the 80-20 principle, The Secrets to Achieving More with Less is the title. I'm sure many of you have read it. It is so good. And the author is Richard, last name Koch. But what if you took 1 hour right now and did an analysis of your client list and said, okay, if I labeled them A, B, C, D, E, and F, which ones would be the D, E, and F section? Those would be the ones you need to offload. If they're asking you so many questions that there's $500 or $600 that they paid you to do their tax return wasn't even worth it because you spent 2 to 3 hours responding to emails, you called them back, whatever the feeling is that you have that you did way too much for too little in return. Those would be what I call your D, E, and F clients that are not making you money. It might seem like you have a lot of revenue, but if you assess the amount of time you invested in these clients, it would be, Denise, have you seen those, you put them on your desk and it's like a old school scale, kind of like they have at the grocery store where you put oranges and you weigh it out. Imagine the scale is on the ground at the grocery store with like 10 pounds of sweet potatoes and there's nothing you can put on the right side to even balance it out. Like the scale is so heavy tilted to one side that those D, E, and F clients are outweighing the 80% of the best clients that you have.
Yeah, it makes me think of because I used to own a retail store and, you fill up the shelves with stuff so it looks full.
Yeah.
But the truth is what your best sellers are, right? The other ones, you just have to keep dusting them all the time. It's exhausting. Dusting all the stuff on the shelves that doesn't sell, right?
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing with your clients.
Yes, it is. And we need to dust off our client shelves right now. And now is the best time to sit down whenever you're listening to this episode. Spend 1 hour, open up your CRM, your TaxDome, your QuickBooks, your whatever tool you use, and assess, what are my D, E, and F clients? What are the names that pop in my head that you cringe when you see an email from them or you see your phone ring from them or you have a voicemail from them?
Or you say to yourself, oh, it's a small client. It's not that big a deal.
That too. It's not a small client. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, if I answer their question, it won't take me much time. And then you completely resent it in the future. Yes, that client those clients, I want you to assess a D, E, or F, or might as well, for the sake of timing and what month it is right now, just make them all F. And if they're all F, I would recommend sending them a letter if they have not sent you their documents, like we talked about in the first quality and characteristic that you want to get, or all the documents up front. I would just send them a very nice note. And your note could go something like this, and Denise, feel free to add to it if you'd like. But hello, Bob. It's been an honor to serve you over the last few years. I have made some changes in my firm, and due to the timing of where we're at and the lack of time there is to complete returns for this tax season, unfortunately, my firm is full as of right now, and we will not be able to serve you. We wish you nothing but the best in finding another tax firm to take care of the services for this tax season. And I hope that you find, or no, we'll scratch that. I wish you nothing but the best. And thank you for being such a loyal client in the past and supporting my firm. I will help you with whatever transition you may need. If you need any previous tax returns, please email my office put your email, and have a fantastic, prosperous year. Period. Sincerely, your name.
Sounds good to me. Very elegant. Nothing like, hey, you're taking too much of my time. Gotta go, right? We always want to be coming from a place of service so that you're never closing the door, because who knows, maybe in the future that person could refer someone to you. You never know.
You never
right?
know. But yeah. I just want each of you to feel a breath of fresh air, to feel a little less pressure, instead of feeling like your back is up against the wall, and that on, I guess, April 14th, I'm not sure what day the 15th lands on this year, but whatever that last dead day is, that you're not pulling an all-nighter, caffeinated, eating everything in sight, and just emotionally drained. That's what I hope that this interruption provides for each of you. So you can offload some clients and then really assess the ones that you want to help and serve and continue and keep around forever. So, all right, on to our third quality characteristic that you should keep an eye out for, to know who you should offload right now. Don't wait. Don't wait another year. Let's take action now. If you haven't done anything, you haven't raised your prices, you haven't done anything yet, now is your opportune time to take action and do something. So Denise, which is the third that we should be on the lookout for?
Oh, Michelle, it's the nasties. The people who are nasty to you and your staff, who are, maybe they're always seem to be in a bad mood, or they're short with you, or they're too demanding. They're like, oh, I need this right now. Those kind of people, you don't need that. You're under enough stress.
Yeah. The rude ones, the ones that your staff complains about, the people that think that they're the only thing that exists on this planet and that you're at their back end call for them. Those people. I don't really think we need to say anything else, Denise, on this topic. Yeah. The only thing that I would have to say is to take action. If someone is flat out rude, nasty, and a bunch of other words I'm not going to say today, just wish them nothing but the best, but unfortunately your firm cannot service them. You don't have to tell them why. You don't have to justify it. These people know exactly who they are, and your staff will value and appreciate you more as a firm owner if you have the confidence to just let them go. The revenue isn't worth the staff headache. It will also improve employee morale and team morale by showing that you can let go of these people. So if anyone is rude, nasty, via verbal communication, email communication, here is my recommendation for the See You Later program. Hi, Bob. It was an honor to serve you in the past. I wanted to thank you for your email or your voicemail. And I wanted to share that unfortunately, our firm will no longer be able to service you as a client. We wish you nothing but the best in finding a firm that suits you. And if you need any previous tax returns, please let our firm know and we'd be more than happy to email them to you for a charge of, I don't know, $75, $100 per year per return. You pick, but don't do anything for free, everybody. Make sure you charge for the transition. If they're a business client and you're transitioning books from, bookkeeping or anything like that to another firm, make sure you charge an exit fee. So include that in your communication. Remember, for nasty and rude people, no justification is required. Trust me, it works every time. They know exactly why they're getting the email. And hopefully you get an apology, but don't keep them around. Those are clients you need to offload. Denise, what is our final characteristic? Something to look out for, quality of the client, for number 4, for our who do you need to keep and who do you need to get rid of right now in your firm? Now is the best time.
It could be a combination, but I think it's those clients who are there's always an emergency. There's always 911. Oh my gosh, I have an emergency. I need you now. Like they're always, and then they get on the call, you get on the call with them and it's like, oh, it was no big deal, right? But it's always like everything's an emergency. And that's kind of like also falls into the same category as, I want to pick your brain. I need information like that, but you're not actually getting paid for those calls. You're not, like you're not, it's not billable.
My whole thing on emergencies is each of you owns a firm. This is not the suicide hotline. This is not a medical ER, but yet our clients sometimes tend to think it is. And I want to remind each of you that unless they are completely bleeding and they are going to personally die, it's not an emergency. The problem is clients, kind of like me and Denise, your general population, your business owner, sometimes we don't really know when something is an emergency and when it isn't. And I'm not saying that for me personally, because I would never call you or my CPA and tell them, hey, this is a 911. But, we have a client, Mark. We've done a podcast on this. I can't remember which podcast number, but maybe Denise can search for it real quick. He had a client. We'll call the client Ethos, like Ethos Water. His name was Ethos. I think he had 10 or 14 entities. And Mark did all the books for him, all the taxes. And every day, Ethos would email Mark. And Mark would wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. to emails from Ethos like, hey, I need this right now. Or, hey, I need my P&L for this right now by 10 a.m. It's an emergency. And it just was constant all of the time. Now, one of the things Mark learned in doing a very more robust process than what I'm sharing with you, but I encourage each of you to take it on, is he analyzed how many 911 emails, voicemails, text messages that he got from Ethos and replied to and never charged the client for any of that communication. What Mark realized was this client was not profitable. They were losing money, even though it appeared that the revenue was so high from this client with the 10 entities and he had 2 employees working with them all the time. It was a loss. It was in the negative every month because Mark never put a time or a value of his time on this client. And that's the exact thing I want you to assess right now, because people think that everything is an emergency right now. I'm sure you're getting it. 911, I need this information. When are you going to have my taxes done? Oh my gosh, I don't want to file an extension. This is the prime time to figure out, okay, that's a client I need to offload. That is not one I want to keep. So I do encourage each of you to listen to that episode I did with Mark. It was a long time ago, back when I started this podcast, probably in the first year or two of it. And learn from him. Learn from his mistakes. But those clients that are sucking up your time, energy, and sanity because of their quick text messages, if they have your cell phone, gosh, please, I hope they don't, or an email, and the back and forth volley of emails or voicemails, that adds up. That's a lot of time. And if we are not charging for that time and you think that's included in your tax return fee, there's a big problem. And that's one of the main reasons why you probably feel you want to work a lot smarter instead of harder this year.
Spot on. I totally agree. And these are, we hear this over and over and over again. And that's what leads to burnout, right? Is dealing with all of these things when the simple solution would be to identify these 4 qualities. They don't have to be all of them. They could be one or all. And see you later.
They're on the see you later program. They need to be if they're not. And this is a great time to just let people go. You have money coming in the door. You have the cash flow. It will be a little painful at first, but the freedom you will feel will be like like Care Bears. I loved Care Bears when I was younger. And it's like you're floating and bouncing on top of the clouds. And you just feel buoyant. And you feel full of energy and you feel full of life. And Jody and Marianne, 2 of our clients, they said they love their firm again. They love the work they do again. There's so many firm owners that we talk to that resent and hate the work they do. And that's what we don't want for you. So
yeah, and we know it's going to be scary. It's going to feel scary to think, oh my gosh, I worked so hard to get clients and you want me to let some go, but what happens in reality is not only will your time be freed up, but your energy, you'll feel lighter. The right clients will be attracted to you. The space will open up so you can attract the people that you really want to work with.
It's so true. And that's what we want for you. We want you to be able to attract the clients you really want to work with. The first thing that has to happen is you have to offload the ones that are sucking you dry, or like my sweet potatoes at the bottom of the scale, and they're hitting the floor at the grocery store because they weigh so much and they're so heavy. And just for everyone here listening, Denise and I have helped accounting and tax firm owners have more freedom and time and money. You get paid first. They confidently charge the fees they know that they deserve. And we know that our system works, and we know that we can help you create the firm you've always wanted. But it's up to you to take these next steps. So implement what we shared today. And for those of you that want more accountability or want to dive deeper into what we talked about today, go ahead and go to theabundantcall.com, and you can book your free session to talk to myself, Denise, or one of our other team members. And we're going to talk about 3 main things on their call. Number 1, we're going to talk about where your firm's at right now and what's keeping you stuck and the changes you can still make right now this tax season. Where do you want your firm and your life to be to ensure you are paid first and avoid all the pitfalls along the way so you can save a bunch of time and money? And the last thing we're going to talk about on the call are the exact next steps you can take to double your firm revenue this year. Every one of our success stories has started with this call, and it's turned into more confidence, charging premium fees, doubling and tripling revenue, top line that is, eliminating burnout and feeling excited about their work and being in full control over their future. So once again, head on over to theabundantcall.com, book a call with us. We'd love to explore more and dive deep into your firm. And thank you for being here and listening. And if you don't book a call, my request is that you leave a written review about what you learned from today's episode. What is the one thing you're going to take action on today's episode? And you can leave that review on Apple Podcasts. So Denise, thank you for joining us and being here. This was a great discussion, and I hope each of you figures out who you want to offload and who you want to keep in this year, 2023.